Okay, I figured it out finally. Hi guys, I'm sorry. For those of you who are just my everyday Facebook friends, I'm doing a Facebook Live for a friend of mine, Diogo, who lives in Brazil, for some of his students at the English school. So you guys can disregard this, or you can listen to us talk all about traveling. For individuals who want to learn English. So you can critique my English or just stop watching now. But for those of you that go to Diogo and Diego's school, hello! My sister Tara is coming, but for right now, I'm so sorry we're running late. But that's okay, better late than never. So Diogo asked us to talk about travel, and Tara and I love to travel. That's something we really love to do. So we're really excited to talk about some of our travels with you, and also just like a typical, maybe just what we would do to prepare for some of our trips that we take. And we'll talk about a trip we're going to take here soon. I'm actually really nervous. I don't like these kinds of things. I get really nervous. So I'm sorry. But I wrote down like a couple of outlines or things that we would need to do to prepare for travel. And then we have some stories to share with you. Hopefully this won't be too long. You guys won't be watching for too long. So, step one, always, thanks Priscilla. Step one is we save our money. We love to travel, so we make it a priority and we work hard so that we can play hard, and our play is travel. True story. We love to travel. So, hold on, I'll try to make this work so we can see both of us. So what are some of our favorite places we've traveled to, Tara?
Everywhere.
That's not true. We haven't been everywhere yet.
No. The Philippines. It's biased.
That's one of my favorites also. Tara served a mission for our church there. So we've been there and we love to go back. Tara also went. Where did you go?
I went to Greece this last year and loved being in Greece. Mostly just the culture and the people and the different experiences I had there.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I traveled Europe this summer. We've been down to Costa Rica and China. I lived in China for a little bit. There's lots of places, but we're going to just talk about specifically maybe like... Sorry. Try to make this. Sorry. Okay. So, have my little cheat sheet here. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so first thing, we save our money. We save our pennies. I don't know what that means.
Well, you're talking.
Because we love to travel, so that's what we do.
Yes. And then what we do, just what anybody would and should do next is you choose a destination. You pick where you want to go. And when you've saved up enough money, you book a flight. That's the best feeling ever.
It really is. It's kind of scary too because it's usually a little bit expensive. But when you book a flight, it just feels good because you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. We're going. So now we can do the rest of it. So from there, the next step is if it's an international flight, you need important documents like a passport or making sure that you have copies of like maybe a birth certificate or a driver's license. Do you guys see how my face is getting red? It's because I'm so nervous doing this.
Yep. We're doing this for you, Diogo, and for all of you students in his school. So this is an uncomfortable thing for us to do, but we're doing it for you guys.
We hope it helps. Okay, so we actually have a really quick funny story about passports, just as like a side note. that everybody in the world is going to now hear. So some of you already know this because some of you went to high school with us. But in high school, we took a trip to
like Eastern Europe. We went to Germany and Slovakia and Poland, and it was like a Holocaust studies trip.
Yeah.
Hungary, and
it was really cool. We got to go to like Auschwitz and Dachau, some of the concentration camps that are known for housing the Jews during that time. So anyway, we were there, and at the end of our trip, our teacher, because we're in high school, so we're not like old enough or responsible enough to keep our own passports, our teacher had both of our passports and everyone else's, and he distributed them, and he gave me Tara's passport on accident, and he gave her my passport.
It's a twin problem. Some of you wouldn't understand.
Most of you wouldn't understand. So we're on the bus. It's really early in the morning. I put it in my pocket, and I put my legs up like this to go to sleep. Like, legs up, it's in my pocket, okay? So, and we're on the bus, and it falls out of my pocket.
But she didn't know this at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know. It just fell out. And
she had a falling out. You guys wouldn't get that.
So anyway, the passport fell out of the pocket. Tara's really funny. It fell out of my pocket, and it was on the bus. I knew exactly where it was, but I didn't know that it fell out of my passport until we were in the airport about to get on our flight, and we were pulling out our passports, and Tara comes up to me, and she's like, here, they gave me your passport. Can I have mine? And I was like, yeah, sure. Thanks, Giogo. And so I was like, yeah, sure. I will pull the passport out. So I went to go get it, and it was gone. My passport, Tara's passport.
My passport, which she thought was her passport.
Gone. And I knew exactly where it was. I was like, oh my gosh, it's on the bus. Let's call the bus driver. So we did. We called the bus driver, and he was like, he was kind of rude about it. Anyway, so he wouldn't come back. So long story short, what happened?
So what happened was I was a little upset. Really kind of upset.
She wouldn't even look at me.
I wouldn't even look at her. I was just scared. I was a little numb because I was
like
17 years old, and I was gonna have to stay in another country by myself with a teacher. Anyway, who was a really cool guy, by the way. He was great guy. Good memories. Anyway, so we stayed in I stayed in Hungary. I watched them all fly away. Sad. And because Sarah lost my passport.
But I didn't lose it. I knew where it was.
And yeah, I watched them all fly away. And then this teacher and I, we stuck around. And we just went to the embassy and tried to figure things out. It was a weekend, so we had to wait a good 3 days until we could go to the embassy and get a new passport and fly home. It was a great adventure.
Anyway, just kind of a funny story that went along with passports. I thought I'd share that really quick. Passports. That's important. A huge step before you travel. Get your passports. I always travel with a copy of my passport too. I don't really know if that helps or not. We'll talk about this story later, but I got all my things robbed in Italy, in Europe this last summer. Sometimes it helps. Just have a copy of your driver's license, have a copy of your passport, and make sure all of that's done before you go. Next step.
And maybe keep it on you so that when you do get robbed, it didn't also get stolen.
Good call. We'll talk about that also.
Next thing on Sarah's very organized list here is packing baggage and luggage. Yeah.
There's a couple ways. You can say you're packing some baggage. You can say you're packing luggage. You can, when we travel, we try to travel light.
We do, yeah. We try and travel light, and it just depends on what you're doing, where you're going, and how long you're going to be there, and so many different factors. But we try and travel light because it's just simpler. Simpler the better. And we're often, we'll talk about this, but one thing that makes travel more fun and exciting is to have a purpose when you travel. So sometimes we go and we do humanitarian stuff. Maybe it's on our own, maybe it's
through contacts we have where we're going. But so sometimes our baggage our suitcases that we check are full of things that we're maybe taking with us for supplies and whatnot. So when we're packing, we have to be careful because all the airlines usually have like specific weight requirements. Yeah. So
we just got 2 hearts. Someone loves us. Thanks, guys.
Even if I'm nervous.
Even if we're nervous. Yeah, and going off of that, what Sarah said, traveling with a purpose. You don't have to go do humanitarian work wherever you go, but there's just places, there's people that need help everywhere. And whenever you go and serve, it's just, we find that it's more rewarding to do things for people that need it in the places we serve. Travel, in the places we travel, I mean.
It's true. So an example, like not very long ago, we went somewhere or when I was in China. I was in China and it was like cold when I got there, so I had warmer shoes and boots, but when I was leaving, it was super hot. So when I was in the in the airport, ready to come home, I had my flip-flops or my sandals on, and I had my boots packed away, but when I weighed my bag, it was too big, and they were going to charge me extra, so I just swapped it out. Like, I just put on extra jackets, or I put my boots on instead and put my flip-flops back in the bag. There's just things that you can do if that happens, so that you don't have to panic or pay extra money, because that's another thing. We love to travel cheap.
Yeah, okay, so just moving along the list here, guys. Any of your questions that you have about all this, just ask Giogo. He'll make things clear. Sometimes Sarah and I can be a little scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows us know that.
Yeah, no pressure, Giogo.
So next, though, in your travel, book a hostel or a hotel or an Airbnb.
Wherever you choose to stay.
Or talk to some friends that will house you. If you like to save money, it's a good idea. Yes.
There have been times, like when we backpacked Europe this last summer, I went with a couple friends, Davey and Chriselle, shout out. We went and it was awesome. There were
You stayed with me?
more than one occasion times where we wanted to have the flexibility to stay wherever we wanted for however long we wanted, so we didn't necessarily book places ahead of time. So there were a couple occasions where we slept in the car because we didn't.
Because they're living on the edge and they're crazy.
So it just depends on how you like to travel, how you're comfortable to travel. Most people try to book a place to stay so they have a roof over their heads. That's normal. So maybe do that.
Or you can just find 2 trees by the seaside and hang up a hammock.
In Croatia.
Because
why not?
Why not?
Okay, so the next one is transportation. That's important to figure out. You can figure out if you want to rent a car, which we did and we've done. It's always sometimes fun to drive in different countries because there are customs and laws.
It is always fun to drive in different countries.
Rules are different. So it's just fun.
Or there are no rules.
Right.
Sorry.
No, yeah. So if you can drive here, you can drive anywhere. If you can drive, period, you can drive anywhere pretty much. And it's just fun. It's fun to drive other places. But you can take public transit if you're going to like Europe or other places. Getting a bus pass is sometimes efficient and the best way. Taxis are expensive. Don't do that. Ubers, I guess, are a good way to get around. We haven't used a ton of Ubers because we just have networking. We have contacts, and we've rented a car. We walk.
Sounds Uber sketchy to me.
Walking is a great way to see the city. Also, or the countryside, or
bicycles.
Yes, bicycles.
Horses. Depending on where you are, maybe you're in like Scotland. You could do like a horseback ride, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, the next one.
The next one is mine. So the next one is currency. So when you're traveling in a different place, you wanna, just be mindful of the currency that's going to be there, because you don't want to get to Greece, for example, and I mean, a lot of places take the US dollar, but a lot of places don't. And so you don't want to get there and realize, oh no, I don't actually have any of their currency on me. So usually what we'll do is we'll go to our bank here locally before we leave the country, and we'll just exchange a little bit, just enough to get by until we can get to a place in Greece or wherever you're going to exchange more. And it's also really important when you go to your bank to talk to them about if you're going to bring a card, which might be a good idea.
Yeah, like if you're coming here to the States, a card is how you'll spend most of your money. Like, people don't use cash a whole ton, so if you call your bank and just let them know. There have been times where I'm in a different country and it's like I get like a notification and they freeze my account because I'm spending money in a different country. So if you call ahead of time and say, hey, I'm going to be in the US for a month, don't freeze my account. That's normal. And find out about fees the cards might use and stuff like that.
Yeah, true. I think that's all for currency, right?
Yeah. This next one's fun. We like talking about this because I don't know. We feel like there's kind of two ways to travel.
And they're both good.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Both good, but preferences, right? And so we've kind of done both. Like in high school, we did a little bit of traveling where we went with a tour group, and it was fun and it was exciting, and we were young, so we loved it. And it really, like, the bug hit us, the travel bug, that way. But we realized after that we enjoy traveling kind of differently, more.
It was, just to chime in, what hit us was it wasn't so much the tourist attractions or things like that. It was the people we were interacting with, and it was the different foods and the different culture, and those were the things that were like, ooh, really exciting to us in our travels.
Yeah, totally. So an example would be like, if you're going to Amsterdam, you can...
That's in Europe.
You can book a tour, and the tour is going to take you to the tulip fields, and it's going to take you to the windmills, and it's going to take you to the museums, and it's going to take you to the tunnels and the canals. It's going to take you everywhere you might want to see in Amsterdam. Or you can kind of a more
flexible,
interactive and flexible way is to just rent a bicycle and just bike the city. Go see whatever you see and go right along the canals, interact with people, stop for ice cream, because you should always stop for ice cream.
Especially if you're riding a bike.
Yeah. So there's just different ways, and so we try to stay with the locals or stay. A lot of times Airbnbs are run, or they're people who are locals have Airbnbs, and it's just cheaper. So we like to do that instead of maybe get a hotel or other things, just so we can experience the culture and the people, and that way we get to know and we interact with the locals, and the locals are really the ones to find out what to do. Like, hey, okay.
Maybe we're back. So like she was saying, it's totally a preference thing. Sarah and I, we wish we were better about this. We definitely value history, and we have an appreciation for history, but we don't love going through museums so much. Some of them, depending on the topic or the museum, we would love to go through a museum, but if you gave us an option to go hike the Swiss Alps or go to a museum about the Swiss people,
or go to the Vatican, in Rome,
we would choose the hike any day. So
1,000 times.
That's just the way we travel, and so everybody's.
If you do want to travel that way and you're more touristy and you want to see the sights, because maybe you're in Prague, Czech Republic, and it's really historical and there's lots of sights, then go to... My face is so red. I'm so nervous.
Okay.
Thanks. Go to a stand or a booth for... Stop it. And they'll hook you up. They'll give you all the information you need, and then you can book a tour or, that sort of thing. So make that a priority if that's how you want to do it.
Yes.
And if you don't, then in life, Start networking. Right now, with all the people you know, you'll find friends from all over the world, and they would love to put you up someday when you travel the world.
It is so true. And people are so good everywhere.
It's true.
Let's see.
If any of you want to stay with us, we have 2 beds.
Yeah.
One here that we're on, and one over there that we're not on.
If you want to come to Provo, Utah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Come. It's beautiful here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we're great company, actually. You didn't think so, but... Anyway, on a different note. So...
Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. So, also, let's see. Going back to what Sarah was saying, just our advice, though, when you're in a different country or a completely different place, experience it, and even in uncomfortable ways. So, if that means tasting food that you don't want to taste, but it's kind of just authentic and great, and
It's like a specialty there.
yeah, do it. Just do it. Experience the culture and the people, and yeah.
Yeah, you can throw it up later. If
Mike
you need.
Brown, no, it does not apply to you that you can come and visit and stay with us because you live right across the street. So no, sorry. Thank you for asking. Great question.
Okay. So, one of the next things we want to talk about is safety when we travel. This is really important. This is where my other story comes in. I have too many stories. Tara should be telling some. But, so we carry like important things. We carry our money, our cards, and our passports kind of like in a pouch or stick them somewhere.
Very close to you.
We all
Use
have
your
our
imagination.
preferences. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Some people wear like a little pouch that goes under their clothes. Some people just use the accessories they're wearing. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, while Sarah is gathering her thoughts, I just wanted anybody that's just kind of randomly getting on and seeing this and wondering what we're talking about. Sarah has a really good friend, and he's my friend too, actually, in Brazil, and he owns a school where they teach English, and he asked us if we would. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, they have like guest Facebook Live. People do guest Facebook Lives so that they can hear English speakers interacting and talking about specific things, and our topic is travel. Tara and I love to travel, so this is what we're talking about.
So we're doing this for this friend's students, and this is a very awkward and uncomfortable thing for us to do. We don't like doing stuff like this, and we've never done a Facebook Live, so this is interesting. And for all of you that are living right across the street in Provo, Utah, you're wondering what we're doing, but it's fine.
You can come over and you can get a live show. Just sit at the end of our bed if you want. So, anyway, another thing, we talked about safety. So, when I was in Europe this summer with 2 of my friends, Davy and Chriselle, we went to Rome. We went to a number of countries, but we were in Rome, and I'm going to make this story really short.
Just roamed around a bit over there. I have awful puns.
No, they're not. They're really funny. That's why this is hard, because when I laugh, my face also gets red, so then my face is just red. Anyway, so, all of our stuff got stolen. All of it.
All of it. Everything but what she was wearing.
Good thing I had clothes on, hey? So,
Yeah.
we were in the Vatican, and it was, all of our stuff was in our rental car, which is not very smart, but it's not what we did the whole trip. We had to keep it in our rental car because we had to check out of our Airbnb. Normally, we keep all of our things where we're staying, and it's locked in a locker or somewhere safe. So especially like your stuff, if you're just backpacking and all you have is a backpack, make sure that wherever you're staying has somewhere with a lock. Bring your own padlock with your own lock and use that so that your stuff is safe and you know that it's safe wherever you are. Ours had to be in the car because we checked out, but we didn't get to go to the Vatican, so we went to the Vatican and we tried to park somewhere super safe, but hey, robber's gonna rob, right?
Just don't go to the Vatican.
Yeah, nothing stops them. So they busted all the windows into our car and stole all the things, and it happens. So just be careful with your stuff. Be smart. Travel in pairs or groups. Always. Never be alone.
Especially if you are, if you're a woman, right? If you're girl traveling, be sure that you are traveling with people. And just be mindful of what's around you. This is applicable to just every day, even in your own, city where you grew up and you're in the grocery store. Just being mindful of people who might be following you or paying close attention to you and those types of things, especially in a different country. You want to be mindful of that. Guys, you too.
Yep, for sure. We're almost done, promise. So we already talked about this one, but we just stress it. If you have an opportunity to travel and to do something good, to do a humanitarian trip. Tara and I are going to the Philippines in a couple of weeks, and we're going with a friend, and we're just going to spend a lot of time we're going with a friend first, just one. There'll be 3 of us first, and we're just going to it's going to be like vacation. We're going to spend time on the beach. We're going to go on hikes. We're going to have Erin, our friend in the Philippines, show us around. It's going to be awesome. But then we're also going with a bunch of other friends that...
It's an organization called 2 Feet.
Yes, where we're going to do some prosthetic work and like build prosthetics for amputees or people who are just born without limbs over there. These experiences are like life-changing. They're life-changing. They really do change your life. So if you have opportunities to go, a lot of times organizations will charge you an arm and a leg. They will charge you all of your money, it feels like, to go. And so, if you have questions, contact one of us.
So, if you don't want to spend a ton of money with an organization, that's okay.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't. We just go anyway. On the trips that you want to go on, and then just find opportunities there. There are organizations everywhere that are doing good things, and they will always accept volunteers. Yeah. And so, it's true. Just go and find good things to do and people to help because they're everywhere.
It's true. We love it. Hi, Diogo.
Hi, Diogo. Diogo is who we're doing this for. And just interact with the people. Can't say that enough because they are what make sweet experiences in your travels. Yeah.
What's a story maybe we could share about like someone we've met in our travel that...
Yeah. Well, when Sarah was in Europe this summer, she just made random friends. Like, she asked these ladies, just in the grocery store or some store somewhere, like, hey, where's the best place to watch the sunset here? And this lady was just so sweet and went to dinner with them and took them up to the best spot and just interact with them, ask them questions, show them that you're interested in their country and their culture, and they appreciate it, and they'll treat you with respect.
Yeah, totally. They love that you care about their country and their people and their culture. It is just everything, just some sweet experiences, and oftentimes, it depends. Here in America, we're very the battery. We're very fortunate. We're very blessed in a lot of ways to have a lot of things that other people in other countries don't have. And so having experiences to travel outside of that and to see outside yourself and to just see, even just to see it and to see how they still smile and they love their families and they just hold the things that are important to them really close and they don't let go, and it makes them happy. Is really beautiful, even without all the things that we have. So don't avoid the people. Find them. Be friends with them. Love them.
It's true. And Nikki, somebody just made a comment down there that said that... How's that going to work? Sorry, we got a phone call. Yeah, that she's stayed places like Airbnbs or places that she's stayed. Interact with the other guests there and like the people that work there, and
you meet cool people.
Totally,
that way,
you just meet cool people.
Travelers are just cool people. They're just down to earth.
Obviously.
Clearly.
Just kidding. We don't travel as much as we want to, but yeah.
So just to wrap it up, we'll share a couple of...
Recap. Oh, a couple of what?
Just ways that...
Oh, okay. A couple of ways. Sarah and I are very cheap. Let's not use that word. We're very thrifty. We're frugal.
We try to save money.
We're smart with our money.
We try to be.
Yeah. So here are a few ways while you travel to do that. So when you go, depending on where you're staying, go grocery shopping, and with the food that they have there locally, cook your food. Also, there are places like Airbnbs and other local hostels or just even local people that you could stay with. By just network around with people and
like I was saying before, start now. Like if you ever meet someone from a different country, get to know them, be friends with them. They would love to host you someday. It's all about who you know.
So true. So we're glad we know you. Another way is walk where you can, rather than taking like a taxi or other things. You can walk. Another way, this is a good one. Sarah's really good at it, so I'll let her tell you about it.
Barter. You can't always do that. Like if you're coming here.
Explain what barter means. That's a weird phrase.
Yeah, that's true. Bartering is like where if like you're having... in like little shops in China, for example, they will always find a tourist and they'll try to charge you a lot more money than it's worth. And so you always, just don't pay the first price. But of course, this depends on where you are. Here in America, you walk into a grocery store and the prices are set. They all have tags on them. Everyone's charged the same thing.
You can't necessarily go up and be like, this says $10. I'll give you $8 for it.
But you could, if you go to a farmer's market here in the States, you could try to be like, this is great. I don't know if it's worth $15. I'll give you $8, $9, or whatever you want. So I don't know. I think just feel it out. And if they said to me in China, they said if the person that you're buying from is still happy when they sold it to you, then you could have got a better deal. So,
yeah. And the last way, just to save money, this is one way we save a lot of money when we travel. We're just not big drinkers.
Alcohol's really expensive.
Alcohol is expensive. It's true.
So we just don't drink it.
And just drink the local drinks there. Like, if you're in the Philippines, you should probably just drink mango smoothies.
Every day.
Every day.
If you're in the Philippines.
And coconut shakes.
Yeah, every day.
All day.
Here,
every day.
Drink water.
Yep. Anyway. So travel with a purpose. Make it wonderful and fulfilling. Be safe and smart. Travel light.
A lot of the things we went over at the beginning, for those of you who missed, were just kind of like simple, just like the steps, like beginning, making a plan. This is what we need to do. We need to save money. We need to book a flight. We need to get our documents and then pack. And yeah, you can hand wash your clothes while you're there. Bring 2 pairs of bottoms and 4 tops and just switch them out.
This is true. Sinks, soap, hand wash.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Anyway.
So, you guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a little strange for us to do, but we were happy to do it for a bunch of students in Brazil who speak Portuguese and are learning English.
And someday come visit, and then you can use your English that you're learning.
Also, don't use our English as a perfect example of how to speak, because we don't speak our own language perfectly, but we do our best. We get by every day. It works for us.
It's better than my Portuguese.
Português.
It's not very good. So,
y'all are great. Thanks for coming in. Just come travel with us.
Yeah. We'll come to your country if you come to ours. Okay, thanks.
Ciao.
Ciao. How do you end this?